Starting. You're live.
Okay. Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Dungeons and Dragons.
They're all very
Often,
special.
often, we find ourselves in strange places in our lives where we don't know what is right and what is wrong. Today, we are interviewing 5 people who have turned their lives around from their drug-fueled habits. First, we'll speak with a man known by his former associates as Frosty. Now welcome to actually Dungeons
Under
and
the
Dragons.
bus.
We're actually, we aren't actually having a drug PSA special. In fact, we're having a small adventure. Oh yeah. So, the party, which I think I denote as the skull, which I'm moving around because lots of death follows in your wake. Uh, it it took you some time to actually get back because transporting an anti-magic box filled with a phoenix god's egg really does prevent you from teleporting. But you have a quick bird that doesn't that can fly while it sleeps. Thanks, flavor text. And you find yourselves back. You find yourselves approaching the capital. I say approaching the capital because before I'm going to say that it's approaching, that dawn is just rising as you reach the capital. Before you, however, get to the capital, Tim, Mosgus, a griffin with rider, wearing the regalia of someone of the aviary in the Black Court, is flying towards you from the capital.
Alright, we'll go up to meet him.
Okay. As you approach, you realize it's your friend Kulung. He is a cavalry member of the, monstrous cavalry unit. He is one of your friends in the Black Summoner's Court. As you approach, he gives a wave and then sort of points towards, and then does a hand signal for need to talk. Because it's not like you can hear each other across
What?
long distance.
Can't.
How is your day? Pleasantry. He points towards a small rocky outcropping that, it looks small from up here. Once you actually get down to it, both of your creatures can land. And he goes, Friend Mosgus, or should I address you as Lord Inquisitor? He smiles.
I've never been one for titles. Except for
no,
everyone.
And you've never been one to stop titles from affecting your work.
No.
Smiles. I come as a friend to give you a warning. Also as an agent of the voice.
Ah.
She has bid me to warn you that there, as of yesterday, a tragedy has befallen the Emperor. Someone attempted assassination.
On him?
Forces in the city, yes, on the Emperor.
Oh.
Forces in the city are trying to find someone to blame, and the various people of your traveling group, some of your enemies are trying to use this opportunity. You are under suspicion. The voice bid me to warn you that if you enter the city, you'll likely be questioned, and if you do not enter the city, the forces against you will likely try to build stronger cases of fabricated evidence.
Well, truth be told, since I know you're working with the voice, we have a special piece of cargo with us. It's the Orb of the Phoenix Queen.
He says, he just puts up his hand as to like give him a moment to process that. He's like, first, the Phoenix Queen, it actually exists.
Yes.
Yep.
And second, you have one of the artifacts?
We have the important one, and we're really wanting to get it somewhere safe.
He says, well, the voice will want to hear this. But I do understand your haste. Are you planning on storing it or getting rid of it? Don't tell me where.
We're
I do not want to know this.
we're talking with the
Since
pillar about it.
you are involved in things so far beyond my pay grade that I currently... he just kind of... he gives a small grunt in exasperation, and he says, I can see why you don't want to enter the capital right now, then.
Right, which is a problem, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who would like to smear our names.
He says that there's at least one of the concubines is involved. The Emperor's concubines. Huh?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Drop off the social people.
Yeah, actually,
And then
that's
have Muskas fly, and then have Lalara teleport everyone to a meeting point.
Oh, that's what you're thinking. I was thinking just you guys go find the pillar. I'll go, and well, a few of us will go and just squash some petty political stuff.
It appears like the main people conspiring to blame you are the concubine Sun Dai, the diviner Yin Xia, and a fellow Lord Inquisitor, Mao Zinnia. I will put
Yes,
those names
please.
into Discord because they're... Moscus. Mao Zinnia has been working the department since before you, but he and you and him have never had a good working relationship.
he's too soft.
Uh,
Or he's too hard. I don't know.
the main thing is that you kind of just like you can be subtle, but after a certain point, you just literally bring in your bird and lift up buildings. Just take the person needed.
It's effective.
And Mao Zinnia is finds it distasteful your excessive use of force and has been trying to find ways of discrediting you because you're younger and slightly more successful than him.
He's jealous of my bird.
Uh,
That's what it all comes down to.
The Sun Dai for Chelsea is one of the fellow concubines who doesn't really understand why Lilara isn't trying to like actively get pregnant by the Emperor so that her political power might rise with her child. But also just dislikes Lilara because Lilara's smarter than her. And none of you have really heard of Zinnia. I guess you could roll a knowledge nobility.
I will do that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
As you guys feel like, who is this person trying to spite us?
I am the best bard.
You're better at it than me still. The prince is foreign and knows nothing of these people except for
What was
the
I roll?
gossip he
Knowledge
used to brew.
nobility?
Knowledge nobility.
I can do things.
Yeah, you're usually pretty good at knowledge checks with your bulging
Yeet.
brain.
Yeet. Learned it
Okay.
better.
So, both Shakti and Laura start remembering that Yin Zan. Yin. I'm just gonna call him Yin. The Diviner. Yin the Diviner is a relatively rising star in the divination I guess, the court of the Seer's court, and has you don't. He's been rising. You guys don't recall any kind of interactions with him. Maybe he's just being paid, or maybe there's a family feud that you guys don't remember. You don't know why he's after you. Maybe he's just friends with the Lord Inquisitor Mao, or concubine Sundai. So that's as you speak on a desolate rock, miles beyond the walls of the capital. You guys have to decide. How are you going to deal with the smear campaigns and maybe possible treason charges that your enemies are preparing for you in the capital while you go out actually saving the world?
Well, we have one pretty good alibi, which is the pillar upon which this empire has been raised, the anvil. And that might count for something, but it might take a while for them to actually relay any information.
Do we really want to like broadcast what we were doing though?
What we're doing right now? No.
No.
Which is unfortunate.
No.
It's kind of awkward.
Do we want to
So-
broadcast why we were down there?
No. Probably not.
So we probably don't want to get the anvil involved.
Mhm.
Even though
I
we
think-
have an alibi. But
Do we know where do we have a meeting spot for the fourth pillar yet? Or I guess third pillar?
The Dawn Caller,
Mhm.
a Yunkin. No, but you were Nivaka, the Anvil, told you that Cadalatrix would be in contact with you to bring you to effectively bring you to the Dawn Caller.
Okay.
So you're waiting for an agent or Cadalatrix himself to send you a message. You just know that you have to travel east to the coast, kind of where the Emperor has been waging war on the ocean.
I
Yeah.
can't believe he's doing that.
I can.
so if we want an alibi, I could maybe like say that we traveled down to get this Hidden Valley map that I got from that guy when I was drunk. And then we have, hey, like, look, here's some evidence. We went to meet with this contact because we thought this could bring wealth and power to the Emperor, like that sort of thing. And then we can use our social trickery to make them believe that. And it's not a lie.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's sort of a lie.
It's a minor bending of the truth, but
In the Prince's idea, that is practically hideous.
compared to what he usually says, that's very truthful.
So, I mean, we could do something like that and be like, hey, we had some information. We were just trying to make the Emperor even more powerful. And then we can hand it over because I really don't know what it does. But I have it.
Gotta do something with it after all.
But I think we need to be able to get at least some of us into the village. The prince is the favorite of Cadalatrix for reasons, and I assume that he'd try to contact
I
him.
think you're giving yourself too much credit. I think Jimmy's
No,
the
no.
favorite of
Oh, well,
Cadalatrix.
you raise a good point, but they both live in the same bar, so it's easy
Nah.
peasy.
Nah,
That's
nah.
where
Well, also remember, Tiamos is
I do have his
practically
scales.
Cadalatrix's like.
Oh shit, you're
spawn.
right. Raise a good point.
Just like I want to point out for you, there, Lalara, is that now you actually share. You have a magical connection with the Anvil because you literally took one of her scales and.
Whether she likes it or not, because I told her not to sniff his taint.
Yeah. So, well, he does have some phoenix taint on him from the possession.
Yeah, maybe Cadalatrix isn't fond of that, but who knows? At any rate, I think we need to get at least some of us into town. Probably want someone outside of the town with the Phoenix Orb, rather than like just walking in there with it. Like, hey, what's up?
What's on that box?
This is the thing we have. There's nothing suspicious in this box.
There's nothing suspicious about this lead-lined metal anti-magic box we're carrying. No. I don't know why it's carving images of a phoenix into itself.
That's actually all it does. Just phoenixes.
Yeah.
It's a magic magic anti-magic box. How hard is that to understand?
It's an etch a sketch.
It's simply an etch-a-sketch. They'll never know.
They could never tell the difference.
So the 3 tasks are: someone needs to keep the orb safe, someone needs to get in contact with Cadalatrix.
Who are the prime suspects right now?
Someone's trying to maneuver you into being a suspect, not for the assassination himself, but for hiring the assassin.
Wait, me?
You, Mazgus, and Prince Ruha.
Yeah, so I feel like we should appear.
Yeah.
Because Tiamos, you're important to the function of the court, but a lot of the people in the court don't know you exist.
Yeah.
You are not high profile. Partially because if you're high profile, it'd be very hard to do your job.
Yeah.
Whereas Saruman is a general. And, well, since she isn't here, I'm not going to have her being suspected.
So the prince already has a gambit. I've talked to Ian about this before, for dealing with a negative Nancy on the court who's not quite agreeing with the general vibe the prince has given out, as are the technical terms for that situation. Yeah. So I think, I guess the diviner would be the one who's actually seems to be the enemy here, but at any rate, we need to get...
He is no trouble
someone
for
to stay
me.
outside.
I will simply challenge him to a duel.
Oh, God.
Trial by combat.
He dares to smear my name, I'll have his head.
Yeah, that's something
Oh.
innocent people...
I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, guys.
That's something that innocent people say. I'll kill you for this!
Oh, given
For besmirching
the
my name.
given the fact that Alexandra isn't here, they could probably fill the role of person who is holding the orb outside the city quite well.
Well, probably the bird can.
I mean, but how is... Mosgus is not going to win a fight without the bird,
Oh,
probably.
you don't know me.
You don't know me.
No, it's probably not best to kill people when you're being suspected of attacking someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no,
I
he's
think-
doing more of it.
Also, I just want to point out that my giant bird circling the city is totally innocent of all crimes.
I think, Mosgus's best chance is just to be the brick wall that's just... They ask a question, you say no. And you're just going to resist all of the effects of the Zones of Truth and the whatever other forms of trial the Inquisitors have. And just sit through them, and you're innocent. Nothing bad will happen.
This is literally where you are innocent. You don't even know who the assassin
Yeah.
is.
It's probably a good plan.
Although, if you do ask your friend, try on Dragon Notes.
Kelun. That guy?
Kulong.
Kulong.
Yeah. He says it's a famous mercenary, a man named Falling Star.
Falling Star.
Actually, all of you can roll either knowledge. I guess you could roll knowledge local. Would be if you have knowledge local. Otherwise, roll knowledge nobility.
Okay.
Nice.
Can I take 10 on knowledge nobility?
Can you take 10?
I think that's a sculpt thing.
Double check that.
That'd be pretty solid if you could.
So Frosty, Falling Star is a man you actually tried to hire once.
Okay.
He's quite an interesting man. He's a monkey goblin.
Ah.
So most people underestimate him due to, small stature. But he's the quickest monkey goblin you have ever seen. In fact, Falling Star is famous for continuing a long line of a fighting style called, well, Falling Star. He's very uninventive about names. But he's known to be able to leap over 500 feet horizontally or 150 feet vertically in one jump.
Wow.
Okay. So this is. Has anyone played Morrowind here?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's that one scroll.
Yep.
Yep. Just flings himself across.
That's this guy.
But he also finds a way of somehow transferring the damage of the fall from himself into his target, which is what he's kind of known for. He tries to hit them on the first drop, and if they aren't dead by the first drop, he jumps up again and hits them with the second. And then he jumps away to escape.
He's fast.
He's very fast. It's almost like gravity doesn't really have the same pull on him as it does others.
So basically, he's just an attack from orbit.
Pretty much.
Is he
And in
alive
fact,
still?
in
Captured
fact,
or?
the assassination happened when the Emperor was enjoying a parade in his honor,
Ah.
and Falling Star pretty much came from a very high point, hit the Emperor, and then but had to jump away. Falling Star is currently on the run.
Oh.
If we could
we could
catch him, if we could figure out where he is, that would also exonerate
Clear
us.
our name.
Yeah. I think that would actually be better than anything. Finding him, I'm not sure how to do that though. Except it's my job.
Have you seen a speck in the distance that hops?
So
Thank you.
He,
1d20 the natural 20, and having already tried to hire him, and
So you tried to
Would I
hire
be-
him once.
would I have a idea of where he lives?
You have no idea why he would attack the Emperor.
Oh well, probably for money.
Yeah, no, but you remember part of the reason you tried to hire him, and he actually said no to assassinations.
Huh.
That was part of his code. So evidently someone.
But I was able to find him.
Oh well, you were able to find him because at one point one of his students came into your tavern.
Ah. Any chance I'd be able to find him again, based on what I have, or is he very in hiding now?
He's. Do you try to assassinate the Emperor and not go into hiding?
I mean, I don't know how much further into hiding a person can be than he already was.
Yeah, you're pretty sure that he might have tried to pay someone to go to another plane of existence at this point.
Okay.
Or at least he's trying to get out of the country so that he can find someone willing to do something for him.
Oh, well then, one of the best routes out of the country happens to go to a place the prince is quite fond of.
The ocean.
I was going to go the other direction, but yeah. I don't know if I have any contacts in the Ruha Border Patrol that could help us at this time, especially with the person who jumps across the desert. So I think if we can't
Actually,
we're going to have any luck.
how much is 500 feet? Is it like a football field every jump?
A football field is 300 feet.
Okay, so
That's it?
he can jump more than a football field and like 3/4. He spends a lot of time in the air. Okay, so what are we? What do you want to do? Because I'm presenting you with a problem. You have an egg that's burning a hole in your carrying sacks, like that wants you to drop it like it's hot.
Okay.
You
Mhm.
have enemies in the capital who are trying to frame you for something you know you didn't do, and you have Falling Star, who's he would be pretty hard to track.
As a in terms of the egg, we need to keep it outside the cap. I think we're best off with 2 on the egg at any given time, so it doesn't just reach out and possess someone.
Honestly,
Because it might be
our
able to do that.
names are not as important as securing this egg. He already
Yeah.
wants to kill us.
It's more of no. The only problem is getting into the capital and not being arrested for long enough to get in contact with Cadalatrix.
Why do we have to go to the capital for that?
Because that's where he knows to contact us.
Yeah, Cadaltrix is expecting to contact you at the capital, but there are ways of contacting Cadaltrix.
I mean, he's resourceful enough. He could probably figure it out.
Does anyone have sending?
You do know someone who does, and you have a sending to them.
That's true.
We still have those orbs to the what's-her-face, the voice, as well as the beads to... Like, we have one-time orbs to the voice and the beads to the...
Or
Bell
are the
Lord,
beads
that's the one.
multi-use?
The Baelnorn is once a day.
Oh. Well, that's fine. We could probably have
Uh,
the Belnorn talk for us.
Okay, so you're gonna give the Baelnorn a call, like, hey babe, how's it going?
Hi, sorry, we've given your position away to like 3 different people now. No big deal. Also, can you send a message to Bellatrix, please? We are here. And
Is
here
that
would
all
be
you're saying?
here would be, I don't know, some small town on the coast.
Ah, okay.
Somewhere specific. Easy to find us.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're the town that's probably the easiest town and closest to where you think you're supposed to go is I'm gonna write it on the map. It's called Cape's End. It's right by the fortifications being built by the Emperor's troops to fight the ocean.
Excellent.
Okay. So, Cape's End. A small fishing village that has now been transformed into a military outpost. So are you actually, are you gonna drop off the egg thing and then go back to the capital and deal with this?
I think we're going to, yeah, wait for Cadalatrix here, drop off the egg,
Yeah, because he can carry
and
it
then
back, and that's fine.
I don't know if, because we could skip the buying-selling session, we could skip the court intrigue stuff, and go for the part of the Phoenix Regalia, because, like last time, we were 5 minutes away from it being gone. Like, they're time sensitive.
True. But we can also teleport
said-
there
Once you don't have.
once we don't have the egg.
Yeah,
we also
yeah,
need time
I
to
know. I'm
restock
just saying.
supplies and build more equipment with what we've found. And I think we're allowed a brief stay.
Okay. We'll take the
Okay.
stay. We'll
So-
know that we could have been faster.
Thanking Kulung, who is doing his best to forget all of this conversation. You see, actually, immediately he just like the moment you start mentioning the pillars and a Phoenix Queen egg artifact and whatnot, or orb, you don't say egg, you say orb. You see him just like dig into his own mount's like rutsack, and then just takes out what appears to be a canteen and just swig. Takes a pause and then swigs. And he says, "Well, I can tell the voice. I gave you her warning, and that's all I want to say." Because he pulls out a piece of paper that effectively says mission, that is showing like he has a direct missive from the voice. It says, "I have my alibi." He gets onto the griffin.
one
He says,
one last thing. Do tell her that the cult, the Phoenix cult, is definitely a thing.
Oh,
he
yeah.
says, "I will warn her, and then I'll try to forget."
Good luck.
He says, I'm good. I'm good at repressing things," he says. "But I hope that you and your magnificent, glorious bird don't get into too much trouble. You
Yeah.
know, our beast can help us against most of the world's dangers, but not the court."
Yeah. Politics.
Kulung gets onto his griffin and starts beelining it back to the capital. The sun has now risen and is showing a glorious sunlight across the farming fields and small towns that then lead into the massive walled capital, which you guys generally call home. You get onto your birds and you just swerve around the capital?
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
Keep on flying.
We can also do that ritual while we're here.
Yeah, well, we can do it on the bird, I'm sure.
Oh shit, that'd be
Yes.
hardcore.
Hey, gotta save time, right?
Okay. So it's 600 miles. And that means it is 12 squares. And you go 3 squares a day because the bird does not rest. So 4 days of travel to get to Cape San, which is still a stupid amount of distance for you guys to do. You guys have the equivalent of an airline jet. Most people can't even. Most people go a square a day if they're moving quickly and well. Maybe 2 if they're mounted. So, you end up, actually, just so that the squares are easier to see. There. As you approach Cape's End, you do notice the wagon trails of supplies. You notice massive amounts of earth being moved into the shoreline. And you notice that fortifications have been set up, and this is actually Cape's End has effectively been turned into a functioning fortress. There's a small fishing village right beside the fortress.
Okay.
That you see the coastline slowly advancing away from the fishing village. Do you take your bird and land in the center of town, or like how are you approaching the town? Because they are not useful.
Mm,
They're not.
I don't
used
think
to.
Mozgus is typically subtle.
No.
So he's just gonna
But
probably.
it's up to the rest of the group if you're like, no, Moscas, we can't do this. You're gonna scare the peasantry.
There's nothing wrong with making an entrance. Like, if we show that we have nothing to hide, nothing to fear, we're just
Well, you're
arriving for a day.
literally causing fear.
No, but like, if we sneak into town and we're like, "Hey, peasants, I want to live in your house for a bit," it's not gonna go well, because the peasants will eventually tell the rest of the
Word will get
military
around,
will,
yeah.
will be like, "Why are you hiding in peasants' houses, Mosgus? Is this related to the accusations?"
No, we're gonna fly right into the middle. Sit down on the
Fly
town
right into the
square.
middle of the frickin' fortress.
As
too.
you
Oh
get
yeah,
into
we'll
the
go to
middle,
the... Is there a fortress?
yeah,
Oh,
there's the
Is there a perch?
Meet the general, shake his hand.
Is there a perch up there?
well, there's a courtyard.
Well, we'll go there then.
As you get to approach the wall, you see people are like, they evidently weren't actually expecting much attack. But you see, like, bowmen start, like, running onto the walls, and you just hear, like, there's a woman in a large, bulky suit of armor and the most ridiculous peacock feathered plumed helmet who just seems to be standing out of on top of one of the keeps that have been created. And she goes, and with an unnaturally loud voice, says, "Identify yourselves. This is a fortress of His Most Radiant Emperor."
I'll maneuver Akane to land, like to clutch the wall next to this lady.
She
Prince says.
she is surprisingly unafraid.
The prince says, "We heard that we were finally going to war with those bastards in the ocean, and we wanted to lend our assistance post haste."
Roll into a bluff check.
Plus 38. No, wait, it's higher now. It's 39.
Jeez.
Yeah, because of a skill rank.
Yep. Okay. Wait, where am I? There's. No.
Jesus Christ, man.
I know.
It's too much.
So, you land your bird on the side of the castle. Okay. Enough Attack on Titan. And effectively, she says, "Oh, you must be reinforcements from the capital," she says. Could I request that you land down in the courtyard so that the keep won't be harmed by your magnificent bird?
Well, where is the perch? Is this not a fortress? Do you look down upon the aviary?
She says the perch is under construction.
You should
My
look
lord
up
and
to the
wizard.
aviary. It's supposed to be up.
That was slated for construction in a month.
In a month?
A month.
We
A month?
we're worried.
There's-
We're worried more about the sea-facing fortifications, as per the Voice's orders. Sorry, the Emperor's orders. The Voice did try to redirect his attention to something relatively harmless. So, War of the Ocean is relatively harmless.
Yeah.
I guess if we ever have actual seafaring threats.
This is also why I took linguistics and got Aquan as
Oh,
a language,
Looking
that
ahead.
so that I can be so that I can negotiate their surrender.
all right. Well, we'll thank you for your time, and we fly down to the courtyard.
Okay. Effectively, the fortress commander comes down and with her entourage, and she says, "How might I be of assistance, lords and ladies?" She does notice how well appointed all of you are. Our current plan against the ocean is one of more of defense than attack. We are building up our supplies so that when we do attack the ocean, it is with great care and with maximum force. She seems to be very diplomatic about all this. She loves her country, right or wrong, but sometimes our country can be wrong.
Right.
You guys, yeah, how are you gonna help?
Hmm.
You're the one who said we were helping.
Defending simply won't do. We must scout out the enemy. Take us to your finest boat.
Boat. Why do we need a boat?
Oh, we just want to spend like a luxury cruise for a bit while we're waiting.
We've been on a bird for like 4 days.
Yeah, boat's better.
Oh, we have to fight.
Boat is much nicer. It's got like an interior and all.
Ah.
We've just been scorching in the sun for like 2 weeks.
I'm good just
You guys
staying in here.
probably, like Lalara has probably set up a magic item crafting little workshop in one of the bags.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, you guys can make items while waiting on the bird. Effectively, she says, she shows you the pier that has been created that continually it's a floating pier, so it has to be continually moved as the earthworks are expanded. And she goes, these ships have been given to us in scouting and defense of the fortress, as per the Navy. The fishing village aside, we have decided on the Emperor's mercy that they may keep their boats and keep fishing, as per their regular lifestyle, despite the disruption of the fortress construction,
Mhm.
he says.
I've taken the form of I've disguised myself as a diplomat,
Ah, okay.
and I ask her if she has given the Emperor's demands to the ocean.
She says, we have sent several missives in as many methods as we have thought of. Some are messages in bottles and in other kinds. So, at one point, we found a mer person, and we gave them the demands. They swam off, and we were hoping that the Emperor would petition. The Emperor would send a diplomatic corps that could survive underwater long enough to go to the underwater civilizations. Although, due to the amorphous nature of the ocean war declaring, we don't know exactly who the enemy is, sir. It is hard to send them a clear message, other than through our own action. She gives a salute.
Hmm.
well, very well then. We'll have to scout once we've gotten to our lodging and
She says, I can have rooms prepared, although because the aviary is yet to be constructed, I do not know if we do have nice stables, she says, hoping that isn't offensive.
are you offering my precious bird a horse for a meal?
It is within the budget, yes.
No, I think she's offering a horse to ride, for the bird to ride on.
She's offering a place of shelter for the bird in the stables. But she isn't saying that because she doesn't want to offend you.
She'll be around us.
They nod. She nods. Is there anything more I can help you with, lords and ladies?
No, I think we're good. Thank you.
She gives a salute and marches off.
Why did you say we were helping?
Hmm?
Why did you have to say we were helping?
Because why else would we be
I
here?
don't know.
Are we going to be on a sightseeing tour? That's more suspicious than anything.
Fair.
So, eventually, so do you actually go to the fishing town, or do you just spend your time in the fortress?
I suppose we'll walk around enough that someone could meet us.
So eventually, you walking around, you hear music being played by a soldier who seems to have a strain. Who seems to have a small like lute that they have pulled out, and they're singing, and it's actually a really good performance, like one
Yeah.
that you would expect more than from a normal soldier. As the soldier like is looking around the crowd, he locks eyes with Tiamos and gives a wink, and then continues on with the performance. After some coppers and silvers get thrown his way, he then saunters up to Tiamos and he says, and he just says, "You look like you know how to bang something together. Want to have a bit of a duel of music?" The
Of
smile
course.
is pure canary.
Of course.
Because
get out my-
he can't say, "I challenge you to a rock off," because rock hasn't been invented yet.
I invented rock.
So you got. He kind of says, "Oh, then fine, we'll meet tonight." He gives like the only tavern in the fishing village, and then our fates will be decided. We'll play until the dawn calls. He turns around and leaves. You're pretty sure that's either an agent of Cadaltrix or Cadaltrix himself. He's
Say-
not being subtle for you guys.
Bards are my favorite people.
Well, night, unless you guys do anything, night comes. And you guys go to the tavern. Calling it a tavern is a bit of an overstatement. It is a series of stools and wooden tables put in front of what appears to be someone's now recently with much better equipment upgraded brewery. It's still like a step above moonshine. There's a crowd there. It appears like the mysterious bardic soldier is playing a few tunes to entertain the masses, which the masses being like 10 people. He turns and he says, "Ah, my fellow bard and company." He kind of just waves his hand when it says "and company." I see you have come here. Let us speak. And he just sort of people roll spellcraft.
I just nearly rolled spellcraft in Snake's stream chat.
Nice.
Do I have
Nice.
spellcraft? I do.
I do not.
Lar has kick-ass spellcraft.
I have super good spellcraft.
Ouch, my nose.
You know, there's a bunch of people. Actually, Frosty has better spellcraft than I was remembering.
I
I
just
have a
rolled
plus
shit.
7 ring.
Ah, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Because otherwise you couldn't make your magic moves. Okay. Actually, strangely enough, Frosty, Prince Ruha, sees that the spell. Actually, everyone who rolled 26 and above. So everyone but Snake.
Oh no.
Notice that the bard has cast a spell that has cast an illusion over your group and him. That makes it seem like you guys are going to do like a rock off, or the fantasy equivalent of dueling
No.
damage. Well, he says, "Okay, now we can speak." while everyone gets entertained. How's my favorite bard? Skald. I have a lot of favorite bards, but you're my favorite Skald. The man says.
I feel almost insulted. Almost.
Oh, you should never feel insulted. You're pretty much like I consider you one of my children now.
Awesome.
You get to. He does like a double snap and a finger point at you. But no, you aren't here just to be complimented by someone as beautiful as myself. So, I assume that you want to speak with the Dawn Caller.
Yep.
Okay. Well, her island's a bit hard to find. She made it that way. But luckily I know how to find her because she occasionally needs me to get there. It's been a rocky working relationship. I've known her for hundreds of years, yet it seems like it's very hard to get her to crack a smile or a laugh. But how is the Anvil? I haven't seen her in a while. Is she lonely?
She's upset.
She's pissed.
Well, he
I like
gives...
her a lot. She has a good sense of humor.
Well,
Somehow
I can
don't
understand
think
why you
her
like. I can understand why you have an affinity for her. He smiles, looking at your now slightly like silvery skin. And it goes, well, she was always angry, but sometimes that passion for justice could be turned into something else. But that's neither here nor there. Let us talk, he says, about getting you to where you need to go. The Dawn Caller has foreseen us meeting her. She's kind of creepy like that. So she'll know we're coming. We don't need to tell her. But well, he says she'll probably tell you, but one of the reasons why she doesn't really interact with the mortal races too much anymore is that she found a helm. She has something called the Helm of Absolute Truth. People can roll Knowledge Arcana or Knowledge History to know what the hell Cadalatrix is talking about.
I'm going to use
Frosty.
Master
He tried his best.
to take 20.
Ah. So what's your total after you take
35.
20? Okay. Well, Tiamos has in fact heard about the Helm of Absolute Truth. Supposedly, it was created near the beginning of the Bay Empire 2,000 years ago, and it was created by the head of the Seer's Court, and it was supposed to be the item that helped pierce every mystery, because whoever put it on would see reality as it truly was. Sadly, every person who put it on usually ended up crazy. So the helm was the desperate would you could get pieces of the truth from it, but the mental strain of using it was too much, and it was eventually put in a vault, and it disappeared in a civil war about 1,000 years ago. You researched artifacts a lot when you realized you could be getting some.
Yeah.
The Helm of Absolute Truth is one of them. Chelsea, you have heard of the Helm of Absolute Truth. You didn't know as much details about the history as Tiamos did.
Okay.
So, he says, with this crazy helm of hers, she and her far-seeing ability, she tends to tell us other pillars what to do, where to be, who to meet, who to kill, that kind of thing. But she's usually very distracted by very long-term things. just be glad she wants to meet you. She might even humor you and allow you to ask her a question or two while she has the helm on. You are doing her a large favor by dropping that hideous thing off with her. He kind of points towards the bird that's circling the village, and he says, I can sense that taint from here, and no dragon wants to touch that.
Sniffing taints, touching taints. What's up with you dragons and taints?
Well,
You say that, and he does a bark of laughter. And he just goes, I'm gonna have to share that with probably the most tainted dragon we have. I'll ask him why he likes eating taint. Oh, I'll even tell him that you told me this wonderful joke. The Twilight Keeper is definitely one who
I'm
has.
surprised you haven't heard it yet.
Well, I don't usually deal with phoenix taints, I just know they're assholes, but I usually never have to get so
God damn
close.
it.
The taintiest of taints.
I just know they're assholes, not their taints.
I mean, never mind. I'm just gonna stop.
Yeah, Cadalatrix is the one dragon you can definitely make fun of all this with. And he just goes over to the prince, and he's like, "Oh, it's a shame to see someone so beautifully skilled in the craft of lying be so tainted," he says to you.
They keep using that word. I don't really get it.
Oh, well, that's okay. Imagine that life. He starts thinking about the metaphor and just says, fuck it, no. When you're being touched by such a corrupted force of nature, it's kind of antithetical to the dragon way of life, way of being, feng shui.
I don't really. What is the dragon way of life, and how does it compare? Neither of you have anything in common with mortals.
Oh, no, dragons have a lot more in common with mortals than the phoenix does. Dragons eventually die, he says. We just have a very long lifespan. And especially, the Dawncaller is pretty much the oldest dragon that I know of that exists on this plane of existence. She's been at this for a long time. I don't know how many kids she has. Met a few. In fact, one of her more recent sons does most of the day-to-day things while she just stares off into the distance. I'm a bit worried that she's senile, but she also has the helm of, absolute truth. So I don't know if you can be senile if you have like that plugged in.
Starting to think the Anvil's going to be a better dragon than this one.
Oh!
The Anvil hates me. I can't imagine why, though.
The Anvil would hate anyone who kind of reminds her of, mortal failings.
even Moscus laughs at that.
Harsh, but fair.
And he turns to Jimmy and he says, "Oh my, you certainly have grown."
I think I imagine in this sort of situation, Jimmy is watching the crowd and thinking that they are clapping and applauding for him.
The illusion slightly shifts as the illusion of Jimmy goes up and does a rocking solo. He says, "It strains belief, I know. So let us get you onto your chariot." He points towards the sky, "and let us get you to the mysterious island of the dawn." She likes everything being dawn named. I'm at least get to be a herald. Heralds do stuff. He says, he points towards the sky and he says, there will be a cloud there very soon. I will be in the cloud. I will be a cloud.
Okay, well,
Follow that cloud.
we'll follow you.
Sounds about
Says, great. And then he says, everyone get to your illusion positions. And he goes to where his
bored for
illusion
this.
is. And then I guess all of you kind of do a bit of a freeze frame where your illusion is, and then the illusion stops, and he says, the show's over, folks. Please give all your money to the tavern keeper back here for allowing us to do this. Also, he turns to the tavern keeper. He says, you might want to use, and he just gives like a different formula for the moonshine. Says, it'll taste better. Also, less likely to explode. You're a good man. I don't want to see you in bits. And he just goes off and he says, I'll see you when the clouds get dark. And just disappears behind a building. About 5 minutes later, there is a suspiciously dark cloud. Do
All
you
right.
guys get onto
Yeah,
the bird and
we'll
follow
call
it?
down Akane and
I think so.
get on and fly up.
Let's go.
Follow. You never thought you'd be following a cloud, but here you are following a cloud. It occasionally takes strange turns, and it almost like you're not once you get a little bit out onto the ocean, which is probably a new experience for most of you. Like most of you probably haven't seen the ocean before. Now, the path, the sky gets foggier and cloudier, and eventually it just seems to be so thick you can barely see anything except for Cadalatrix's tail in front of Akane's beak.
Well, Laura can see.
Lalara can see perfectly through it. Lalara, actually roll a spellcraft check. Because you can actually see through this.
Actually, Saruman has a gauze
he's-
mask?
Saruman does. But Saruman doesn't have... Yeah, you got it from a corpse.
Oh, okay.
You guys, or maybe she bought it because she thought it was cool.
I think she bought it.
I think she bought it. Laura, he just led you through a maze that was put in the air.
Huh.
And it wasn't like a hard maze, but it was more like, okay, fly this direction for how long, and then take this degree turn. And effectively, it was a very specific set of flying. And as the fog breaks, you see an island floating serenely on the ocean. The ocean is calm around it. You see the occasional bird. And you see Cadalatrix is no longer a cloud, but in fact just in his full draconic form. As he flies down, you see a... Okay, I actually need to see what... You see a dragon covered in splendid golden scales, who's about the size of Akane. Fly up and say, "Ah, Pillar Cadalatrix, I did not expect you to be here." Well, I didn't expect you, he says. And he just says, "My boy, we're here to see your mother." What she knows we're coming, he said. The boy says, the boy, quote unquote, the huge dragon, says, as is expected. And you guys fly down with a double dragon X.
God damn it.
Yeah, we're awesome.
You land. The island is beautiful. Everything is magical. It's kind of like if someone wanted to put like a peaceful garden and made an entire island of it. At the center is a palace that seems to be carved from marble. Like it was carved from a solid piece of marble. As you go in, there's I guess, whole flaming like there's bowls that have fire in it. I'm forgetting what kind of word that should be. And effectively bowls of a rainbow of fire colors leading your way. And you find yourselves being led into a chamber that is almost like a temple, except you see an old woman. And she actually does look old. She's an old halfling woman, so like 3 feet tall, just sitting on a chair that's far too large for her. She turns to you, and her eyes are like the specks of stars at night. And she just goes, "Ah! I see you've brought some friends, young Cadalatrix." Cadalatrix seems to just the young part just rolls right off of him like water off a duck. And he goes, "I bring you guests, and I then bid you adieu. They won't need my help leaving," he says. The Dawn Caller, the halfling smiles, and she says, "Just remember, playing and helping are 2 different things, young Cadalatrix." And he just he shuts his eyes a bit. It's almost like the words pain him a bit, and then he goes, "I wish you would stop being so apt with your words." And he just turns around and leaves. The old halfling lady smiles. She says, "You have done me a service, even if bringing such a item into my domain is an unnecessary evil. Come to the stairs. We will talk at roughly the same level." You guys come to the stairs, and she slips off of the chair and just walks down. She walks so that she's only a foot taller. She's a 3-foot halfling, so there's some stairway in between you and her. And especially I think like Tiamos is probably like 6 foot something. Built like a fucking linebacker.
Yeah.
Are you guys on your bird, or do you dismount?
I think it's
Because
probably
then she
polite.
stands very
It's
far
probably
up the
polite to
stairs.
dismount. The bird will follow behind.
Okay. She says, "I see 2 of you have taken after my pillars. How wonderful. I always find that a pillar needs a connection to the world they're protecting, to remind them that they too are vulnerable." She looks at Tiamos and Lalara. And then she continues on. "As a boon for bringing me this most dangerous artifact and risking your lives, I shall answer 2 of your questions. They can be of anything, of any nature, and if I do not understand, if I cannot give you the answer, I will let you know, and I will not count it as a true question. You come here, and the greatest gift I can give is knowledge of the self or of others. I'm best at the past and present, though I can do a little bit of the future," she says.
Would you mind if I spoke with my... First of all, it's an honor to meet you. And we introduce ourselves.
Sometimes I forget that I shouldn't just speak at someone. I apologize. Wonderful to meet you all.
And I just need to talk with my colleagues for a moment.
Of course. I'll be up on the chair. She kind of just hobbles back up to the chair, and then just kind of struggles and eventually gets into the oversized chair.
So, we could ask questions, but maybe we could get a scale.
Mm,
Can we ask if they'll accept like a trade-in of another scale?
Hey, I got a scale as good as your scale. Let's trade scales.
We don't have a use for this one,
We
right?
do. I mean, not really.
like, if I realized that at the time, we would have just not asked for
She
that
kind
scale
of
and
just
said,
ripped
"Hey,
it
could
off.
ya-"
She's like, "Fine, take another."
Yeah,
Without, yeah.
Like that wasn't.
She's very direct.
But I don't know if that's worth a question or if that's something we can request. Like that's not really a
I
question
think
of face.
I don't know. She's not a genie, right? So I think if we say,
Mhm.
"Hey, can we ask some non-all-knowing questions?"
Yeah, I think we
Oh,
get some non-all-knowing questions in there as well. For all-knowing questions, we should probably ask about that Phoenix Scepter, if that's or the Phoenix piece we know of, if that's the scepter or the crown or gone.
I wonder if we can
And,
phrase it to such that other can we learn where the other one is that we don't know about?
is she going to answer yes or no?
I doubt it.
Can we ask that without
Jeez.
it being one of our genie things? Can I ask if I can ask that without
Oh
it being one of
no,
our
don't
genie
start
things?
that.
The princess
I do definitely want to
concerns-
hear from like Matt, Lauren, and Chelsea about what questions you want to be asked. Or
well, I have personal questions that I would ask, but they aren't as important as the artifacts.
fair.
Um,
Like this can range from like what is the Phoenix to why is the Emperor crazy to
oh yeah, that would be like. Is there a good way to?
Oh, you know what? How to cure the emperor would probably be a good question.
I mean,
Yeah.
we haven't really been going down that path, like we said earlier. Like, I don't know if that's our.
But that would give us a path to follow rather than nothing. That's a pretty good
I
one.
mean, yeah, but
or
we're a
it
bit
could
late to
be
that punch.
anything like you look at the other artifacts and you're like, hey, how can we find more of the armor of the Dragon Emperor? And that
oh,
kind of
actually,
stuff.
with the one missing in action piece of the Phoenix Regalia, that could be our most important thing.
Mm.
Or if you're like, hey, can you help? Can you guide us to where the Pearl of Luck is?
And then she says yes.
Well, this is not a malicious genie. Like, I'm not doing. If I was doing this malicious genie style, I'd be like, okay, everyone, write me down your questions with the punctuation so that I can try to fuck you up.
Okay, I'm hoping that the prince's elevating concern about what counts as a question and what kind of the answer information we're going to get is going to spark her to intervene and tell us something a bit more helpful than ask any two questions. Like, is she gonna
She's just smiling as you guys are deliberating.
is she gonna like turn into dust and fade away into the distance after the second question is answered? I don't know.
She she echoes from her chair in a surprisingly robust voice for such a small body. The Helm of Absolute Truth is actually a bit of a lie. It just shows the most probable truth. It takes a real strong mind to actually piece together what it actually means. Also, I'm not going to charge you a question for asking about the question. What kind of reward would that be? He says.
I don't know.
I am not you, Prince Ruhan.
Oh.
She
Wow,
knows.
You
He
burn.
left
Hey, I got some ice right here.
Okay.
Sick burn.
That is unfair.
Can I use
was
one of our
I
questions
was
for an apology?
She said, I was once like you, but I got better. So
Well,
can
you have tens of thousands of years to do that. I've got like 80.
She
Eh.
smiles when you say 80.
Oh no.
like the hesitation.
You are tainted.
Well, actually,
You probably have a short
spoiler
lifespan.
wise, the prince is either going to die in the next like year and a half, or he's going to live forever. That's pretty much how this works.
Wants to live forever.
Okay,
So his guess is quite off in either direction.
so do we want to ask about curing the king, which could solve a lot of our problems?
There's the Black Emperor is currently also no, not Black Emperor. The Black Summoner is also currently wounded, and if you manage to cure him, you would have both the Voice and the Black Summoner, two of the most powerful people in the court, other than the Emperor, on your side.
Hmm.
Do we know a way to track down the pearl at all?
Well, you know it's general like in an area, but
it's
it is a
pearl.
deep dark ocean.
In the ocean.
Yeah, that,
I assume there.
Well, it actually, if you look at the map,
Yes.
I have put the Pearl of Luck
deep underwater.
actually in a 50-mile box.
Oh yeah, 50 miles.
It's a long, it's a big
That's
area.
definitely.
Well, we can do some
Ocean man.
like.
But it's
take my
magical,
hand
right?
To the promised land.
It should be pretty easy to find, especially if we do like a library dig, like look for if there's a ruin or something in that area that's magic-y and likely to have it. I'm sure someone's been down there.
All right. Well,
I assume it's not just in a clam in the middle of some rocks somewhere.
I mean, it
you
could
never
be,
know.
yeah.
Some fish.
It has been lost.
Maybe that's why it
That
hasn't
fish
been
got eaten.
found. No one thought it would be dumb enough to just look in a clam.
Well, if
Okay.
you're confident we can track it down, I don't think we should use our question for that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to leave you paralyzed, but please do.
So yeah, we can try and find more of the Phoenix Queen stuff.
More of any of the other
More
artifacts.
of any of the others, since we haven't actually gone for any of them yet. More dragon stuff. Cure King. Anything else? Any other major thing we might need help with? We could be stupid enough to say, "Hey, where's the Skyfaller guy? Where's he at?" And then he'll be
We
gone
could
by the
ask
time we get there.
if she knows who tried to assassinate the king, so that we could use that information to help us.
I thought we knew that.
Well, you know the agent. You don't know why
Ah.
he did or the forces behind him.
Oh, we could ask, where is the Phoenix cult? We
Yeah.
could just say, "Hey, where are they there? Okay, let's go kill them."
Yep.
That would solve a lot of
We have
problems.
a lot of options and not many questions. Okay.
That's part of the problem.
The
This
prince,
is
still
role-playing, my
talking
friend.
like he's talking to a genie, says, "Do not answer this question if it would consume one of our questions.
She
Can we
smiles.
exchange this scale of your fellow pillar for an extra question and/or a scale of your own, please? Thank you. Hi."
Is
I'm-
high a
She
question?
considers it. She starts thinking, and she says, "Yes."
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh.
She said, "It's been a while since I've had a part dragon with my blood running around the Empire. It would
Is she a
nice
gold
to have
dragon?
a connection."
Is she a gold dragon?
She's a sovereign dragon.
The fuck is that?
The serpenty wiggly wavy.
So it's more of the Asian style dragon.
They have that in D&D.
They do in this one,
It's
in this D&D universe.
Let me open images, new tab.
Cool.
Something more like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same thing.
Oh, it's a sonic dragon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Part of me thinks this would work. This would have worked well for the bard, as the volume and noise.
can't
and
fix it
loudness.
now.
Can't fix it now. Nope.
And
Don't
Alex
want to
gave me-
become an abomination.
I like the performance skill that Alex gave me. So
Sorry, should I not have said that in such a sing-songy voice?
oh no, you became an abomination. Aw, shucks.
Oh, shucks darn.
Gotta put you down.
Could have a
I
giant
mean,
sonic bird.
Yeah.
that'd be okay. I would become an abomination.
And you're currently on the side of dragons who don't like abominations.
Ugh. Dragons are so picky. Don't be a phoenix abomination. Don't be a dragon abomination. Don't be Jimmy. I mean,
Poor
No, they like Jimmy.
All of them are fascinated how Jimmy is surviving. That's
Did he
really
get- Didn't he level
yeah,
up?
he did.
Yeah, he
yeah,
did.
he's level 1. We don't know what he is though. He could be a freaking warlock or a druid right now. We don't even know.
God, Jimmy the Druid.
Jimmy hasn't actually.
Jimmy
doesn't
the
know
Druid.
himself.
He knows he's level 1 of something though. He's like, I have so much hidden potential. I just need to fight. We're gonna figure out which first episode of which anime this is right now.
He has 8 in every stat. It's kind of hard to be something great, but it's possible.
Well, we'll definitely take that offer then to trade this because we really don't have a use for it.
She says, I guess I could understand your desire to spread out the draconic love, as it were. Now,
Okay. Questions.
please, I want to help you, but using the helm is very taxing. So, 2 questions.
Okay, so right now we've got Cure the Emperor / Black Summoner. I think they're related, so we might get a twofer with that
Okay.
one, but we might also need to decide. We've got location of remaining piece of Phoenix thing. We've got Matt's backstory, or Tiamat's backstory rather.
T's backstory.
T. What else?
Other
We've got
artifacts like more dragon manuals.
I
seems
suppose
pretty
we've already got at least 1 lead of the Dragon Manual.
That's true.
Because
And that one should be pretty quick to find. Well, not quick, but we've got 1 lead on that already.
because I've made the sets of artifacts
yeah.
be able to kind of compound in usefulness the more you found them.
Assassination attempt. I think that one's the
Yeah.
least important, to be honest.
Yeah.
We'll probably be able to find out that pretty easily.
Yeah, it's us, don't you know?
Yeah.
It's known.
I vote for the cure. That's my vote.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's do that.
or rather, I.
Dio. Sorry. The cure.
Zakuro.
So which song of the Cure, though? No, fine. Okay. So you vote for the Cure, but for which one? Emperor or Black Summoner?
Emperor.
Emperor.
Yeah,
Emperor.
figure what the Emperor needs.
Well,
Actually,
how-
no.
Mm,
Black Summoner is more accessible.
I know
think.
the Black Summoner, so
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's generally a force of good in your
The Black
society.
Summoner is just weak. He's not crazy and resisting,
right.
as far as we know. That makes him easier to cure.
We could probably use his help.
Yeah, the Black Summoner is cursed.
We may need an artifact for the Emperor anyway. This could be the work. If this is the
Done.
work of the Phoenix cult, which I'm beginning to suspect.
when did the Black Summoner like become cursed?
was
At the
first
fall
session.
of Nahun.
Or 0th session, I guess.
Yeah, it was the
With all the-
prequel session where he turned into effectively he double dragoned himself with his familiar and then fought an Eldritch Horror that came out of Nahun.
So basically, it was one of those tentacle scenes you've all seen on the internet. And he's never really recovered mentally, and now the Emperor's gotten down as well. That's
And
The
so
whole
the
plot so
voice
far.
is pretty much the only one left of the trifecta of rule that isn't crazy or cursed. And you
Mhm.
don't even know that for sure. The voice is just a nice.
You know, you make a good point. And we're pretty sure that the Phoenixes, or the whatever happened to the Black Summoner, probably, because that happened at the same time, transferred to the Emperor. Because they have some sort of link if one dies, the other dies, or what have you.
Oh,
Yes.
I remember all that from first session lore dump, unless that was...
Yep. That is fair.
Okay.
They have a
Ooh.
lifelink. And that's why that's why they're trying to keep the Black Summoner alive.
Yeah, why don't we do Black Summoner? Let's do that.
Alright.
Okay. And what is your second question? Are you gonna wait for the dragon to actually?
I'll wait for the answer to that one, because it might be like a...
Right.
Oh, you just need to find a magic rock. It's not one of the ones you know about.
Okay.
Ask a second question to find out where.
She's not a genie.
Hey, babe, I heard you're a genie. I dreamed of the Dawn Caller. Okay. So, you ask to cure the Black Summoner, and she considers it, and then she says, "Let me get the helmet." And she kind of shuffles to the side, shuffles to the back. About 5 minutes later, she returns with a helmet that, like, it's made of some. It is bedecked in jewels and finery and whatnot, and like it is the most gaudy helm you have ever seen. And you see that it actually will go, and whoever puts it on, it will cover their eyes. So she says, "Okay, one moment." She turns into like a rather tall human. The helm fits better. She slides the helm on and sets down into almost like a meditation cross-legged lotus pose. She says, "Ask me your question so that I might illuminate you with the most probable answer."
Anyone want to take it? Oh no.
Oh, no. She says,
Damn genie.
"You got punked, bitch!"
What is we're looking to see? Okay, this is more of a a statement than a question. We're trying to figure out exactly what is wrong with the Black Summoner of the court and how to fix it. How to fix him. So how can we cure the Black Summoner?
Ah, a very good question. I will divine the closest truth. She seems to think on the question for a moment, and she says, "The Black Summoner has been cursed with a touch of unreality. He has been cursed by beings who live in the void and who grant mortals power only through madness and death. The cure lies in a necklace from Talmik the Black, the first Black Summoner."
Ah.
Let's see. We know of location of. Wait, all three? Wait, does he have four?
Now he's a 3.
Okay, so we know of all three locations. Just don't know which one is which. So it might be reasonable to ask that, but the Phoenix thing may be more pressing.
We can always have, meta-wise, we can always try to have our underlings fetch an artifact.
Oh shit, that's right.
So,
Yeah, you have 8.
so we should, when we go back to the capital, we should probably send all of them to do a thing. Like, get a Atomic piece and hope it's the right one. Or something, you know?
Okay. So so that has answered the Talmik question. She takes the helmet off. She says, "Do you need to deliberate your next question?"
Yes.
Okay. She gets onto the stone slab and starts napping. Like the big seat. She just gets up there, pulls a blanket out of a pocket, and then says, "Wake me when you're ready."
Okay,
When
you know what?
December ends? November?
September.
Which one is it?
September.
What month is it?
September. It's
September.
September. Yeah. Whatever month. Not important.
The prince, we all form our huddle. The prince opens his mouth to say something very important and says, "You know what? Grant my dragon is more fun than I thought she'd be."
And all you hear from the napping dragon is, "I could be your great grand ancestor, or you could become part of my family by taking the
But
scale.
he can't.
Though that would likely kill you, Phoenix Abomination."
So I keep hearing.
You don't
Ah,
know
well,
till you
never-
try.
I don't
And
have a
that
face
isn't
for
one of my
scales,
question
anyways.
answers.
Okay. So I think we need the location of the unknown piece of the Phoenix Queen.
Yeah.
If we could know both, that'd be great, but I think that might count for 2. We could just ask, hey, where are...
We have
the
an
rest
extra
of the-
question, potentially.
That's true. She did say yes.
Oh.
So we could, maybe we could do the compound thing. Can you tell us accurately where all the pieces of this set are? Like something like that, you know?
Unless
Yeah,
you want to give up a dragon scale.
No.
Because that shit is gold.
It's better than gold.
Can we ask for both? Like the location of 2 things? Is that if they're a part of a set? Does that count?
You're asking for the
That's one question.
location of the set. That's one question.
I mean,
However, if you're asking for the Phoenix Regalia set, you already know where one is.
That's true.
yeah.
It's underground in Haval, 3 Wise Men. It's in the neighborhood of the Baelnorn. You could be like, "Hey, Baelnorn, what's up?"
Actually, that's a good point. If we ask now, depending on how long it takes us to get to it, it might move.
Yeah.
Could always save,
There is
can we
a-
save a question? We might even just want to come back when we have a better question. We could always
The
teleport.
virtue of patience, she says. You won't be able to teleport
Oh,
here,
well.
though. I've generally stopped things like that. I could send one of my children to fetch you, though.
Oh. How would we contact you?
Aw.
Oh, you just wander around that fortress town. How wonderfully silly that is. And you aren't exactly subtle. One of my children's agents would contact them.
Perfect. And that
She just says, I find it desperately amusing how you just wander into towns and the peasantry just merely has to accept that all of you are just being there. You're so larger than life for most of them. It's wonderful.
Most of us are, anyways.
She says,
Size
your
isn't
impact is
everything."
felt wherever you are, Prince Ruhan.
I was talking about Jimmy, but okay.
She gets up from her nap and takes a long look at Jimmy. She seems to contemplate something. And then Jimmy says, where can I find the best food in the kingdom?
No!
She
Jimmy, shut
just
up.
laughs. She laughs and laughs.
Jimmy, you ruin it.
I murdered
No,
Jimmy.
Jimmy, no.
She says, oh, no, please. Oh, that is the best laugh. That's the best joke I heard since I saw Cadalatrix fall flat on his face. She says, oh, dear child, come here. And he kind of looks and walks up a bit confused, and she just whispers something into his ear. And then kind of gives him a slap on the back and says, if you can make it there alive, you'll feast like a god. She goes back to her chair. Oh, I have seen to the ends of the universe, but I have yet to have someone ask where to find a good snack.
Okay, did that count as one of our questions?
You asked that, and she just laughs, and she says, just for the sheer humor, I didn't have to use the helmet. It does not count as a question.
Lovely.
Now, well,
Though Jimmy, she looks at Jimmy and she says, Jimmy, you have been granted a great boon. Do not abuse this knowledge that I give. And Jimmy, just not knowing any of the importance, just says, okay.
Okay.
so we'll save the other question or questions
I suppose.
unless we have a reason.
Can we, like, use it by ascending? Is there a better way to reach you? This seems inconvenient.
I would prefer to answer your question in person. There are too many things that lurk between and beyond that would love to hear our answers.
She's got a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. This is like an old people in technology.
She says, could you present me the box?
We get it off the bird, put it down, back away.
She looks at it, and you can see her pleasant demeanor kind of slowly drain away the longer she looks at it, and the slow carving of phoenix symbols on the box. To think I'd have to deal with this now. She goes towards it. She considers it. And then she turns to one of the pillars and says, could you pick it up, my dear? And the pillar seamlessly sprouts arms, walks towards and picks it up. She goes, I assume you do not want to ask a question about the nature of the enemy? Or,
Oh, yeah, that was an option. Let's go.
Phalanx.
Um,
We could always. I think we should just secure the pieces we know, and then maybe ask, like, where are they and how to stop them.
she says, with this in my possession, it is unlikely that the Phoenix cult will succeed in their most grand design. They still have others. They can still be pests and still destabilize the empire that I've worked so hard to make sure was stable. I have not forgotten my oath, even if your emperor has.
Well, he's kind of fighting the ocean, so I wouldn't hold that against him.
Oh, that is actually working wonderfully for me. Oh, I see your confusion. Now, this is not an answer, she says to Prince Ruha. There are things beneath the ocean's surface that would actively imperil the Empire. The fact that he is creating coastal fortifications and naval patrol routes and funding money into the Navy is actually saving the Empire from much future conflict with things that dwell beneath. I do believe that that's why the Voice worked and tried to direct the Emperor's proclivities in that direction. The Voice is clever. Very clever. One day I'll even have to meet her. But yes, the actual war on the ocean's kind of done. But it is a useful kind of idiocy. One that I admit I have used in the past. Well, if you have no more questions, I assume that you desire a scale.
Yes, please. And we take out the other scale and hand it over.
She looks at it and she says, "Ah, very fresh." She gives the scale is like as big as a shield, and she's in like a human form. She does a little bite of it. Yeah, this real genuine scale. She puts it down. She says, "Well." She seems to She says, she seems to stand, concentrate, and then she says, "Wait, a lady never shows her true form on such short notice." And she goes, "I'm going to my powder room." She goes off into the back. She returns a minute later, and there's a giant gold scale. And she puts it down, and she takes the silver scale, and she says, "What a wonderful little decoration this one."
Well,
she puts it on her chair, on her oversized chair. It definitely is way too big for her medium-sized form. And she just smiles and she says, "The scale will serve all use you have for it. It will bring you a closer connection to me than I've had with a non-draconic mortal race in a long time. Whoever you use it on should be worthy," she says.
Moskis just looks at his bird. Nods silently.
I hope you're not hoping to form too much of a social and emotional connection. It's
His bird is smart.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's smart,
It
but
can
it's,
understand
probably
language.
has
It can understand
feelings.
language.
I guess.
It's a pretty magical
Yeah.
bird at this point. It's not really normal.
You're upsetting the fantasy PETA here.
The bird Akane just lowers her head really close to Ruha, and her eye is like as big as his head. Just goes, "Ka."
Good birdie. I can give it a chin scratch and could use any number of terrible spells for that, but
It
I
picks you up
won't.
on the back of your shirt and puts you down, just so you know.
Just so I know. Well, more just so Mosgus knows that it hasn't been charmed.
Actually, I don't know how that would
It
work.
would actually be tactically good to charm it. Like that prevents
Oh,
any other person trying to charm the
oh, that's
bird
really
has to
funny.
beat my cast level.
That's actually really
Yeah,
good.
I did that with Jimmy. Jimmy got possessed by the phoenix, but the prince was stronger. So he just told Jimmy to fuck off
Oh,
and used that power for not good by going to the orb himself. But still,
theoretically, it could have been better.
theoretically, it's better.
That could have ended better.
Okay, so when you guys are, I guess, if you've had your fill of the Dawn Caller's Island, she summons one of her children, the same dragon that led you, that helped escort you in. She says, "Ah, if you could bring them beyond the barrier, that would be wonderful, darling." The the dragon nods and says, "When you're ready."
Before we go, I asked her about the nature of the connection between a dragon and its scale bearer.
Ah, Catalatrix did a terrible job in explaining what that actually meant, didn't he? Well, she goes up to you and she kind of pats you on the cheek, kind of in the scale. She rubs a little bit of something off the scale. She goes, "As you require more of the books and you imbue yourself with more of the aspects of your parent dragon," she says, "you will eventually become a half-dragon or even closer. You will gain many powers, but you will also have a deep blood connection with your patron. You'll find yourselves important to each other. And that is part of the reason why the armor of the Dragon Emperor was ever created. It was an experiment between mortal and dragon kind to see if greater connections could be formed. We, the Pillars, have now taken this experiment and mainly hidden it so that it does not get abused, or the connection not used in a terrible way for dragonkind, because most dragons don't really want to take human parts. But you are essentially, you become closer and closer to it until you become a true child of a dragon.
So it's something that evolves over time.
Oh, the more, she says, over time, yes, the connection might strengthen, but the real strengthening of the connection comes as you gather more of the methods and rituals of the armor of the Dragon Emperor. If one had the claws, the scales, the eyes, and the heart, well, they would be more than a half-dragon. It is a path that leads to, that was created mostly so that mortals and dragons could learn to coexist in a way that wasn't destructive. It was originally not actually created by Shenseng Long, the Dragon Emperor. It was created long before that, but the knowledge of the ritual is flawed. It was actually created before the Pillars were created, over 2,000 years ago. But Shen Long was the last what uncovered the buried rituals, and was the first person to actually use them to great effect. Unfortunately, he became an abomination with it. But it was created before the pillars were put into place as a way of creating a pact or a bond between dragon and humanoid kind. That doesn't just involve rampant fucking.
So eloquent, and then...
Okay.
Wow.
Well, that's why we're getting scales.
Copulating, maybe.
Yes, the joining of spear and lotus, she says.
God.
Oh, I get it. Because
Yep.
yeah, I get
Yeah,
that.
Thanks.
Yeah, we get it.
Sorry.
Well, before we go, I would like to put this scale on this bird.
She smiles and she says, "The rock.
Iconic, yes.
You would give this wonderful near dragon connection to a rock."
She's a very special rock.
Oh, I'm sure I'll learn that.
Do you not want me to do that?
Oh, it is a gift given freely. Free will is one of the greatest part about a mortal race.
Doesn't mean she's not going to judge you for it.
Oh,
It is.
what
It is.
one must have to have free will. One must be able to make their own decisions and mistakes.
It is my
I
belief
guess we'll remember
that this rock was a gift from the goddess Destria. So I believe she is not just an ordinary rock.
Well, I can see that.
She's a
Or was a
boulder.
rock lobster?
Fuck.
She's bigger than a boulder.
She goes, "I haven't bonded with a rock before. I'll see what new experiences that brings."
Oh, is there anything we can do to earn some more questions out of you?
Oh,
What?
oh. Well, I assume that for every part of the Dragon Emperor, the rituals you find that you come back to us with, you can get a part or a question. Also, if you help with this Phoenix cult, your ward will likely involve parts or questions. I could also give magic items, but you have other sources of magic items.
Okay. Wait. One part or question. Wait, okay. The anvil gave us a similar deal of one part per piece returned. Do those stack, or is that a separate thing?
You know, if she's offering this, we'll take that. But if you got a better offer,
Can we double dip? I'm not sure what the protocol here is. I want to make sure we're on the same page before we start questing. You know, is this at all?
She smiles. And she nods and she says, "I'm sure that I can find the greater your deeds, the more I might be able to convince Nivaka of the worthiness of your cause." You might be able to get both a part and a question if you do particularly well, young prince.
Okay. All right.
It's open for negotiation, she says.
Okay.
sounds good. Well, it was
Yeah,
a pleasure to
that
meet
works.
"Oh, the pleasure was mutual," she says. And she just turns to the rock and she says, "I wonder what your future will hold." An interesting one, at least. She approaches the bird and then whispers something to it. And she says, "Come back when you understand what I just said."
Bird just twitches its head a little.
Walks back. Then she just walks back to her oversized area. She says, "Oh, goodbye, my young adventurers, family members. Some of you are pretty much pillars at this point." She gives a smile. Come back when you want that question answered. It's lovely to be asked things that aren't always doom and gloom.
Oh, okay. Also, just as a note that reflects well on my character, I could very easily get Jimmy to tell me the secret of fine cuisine, but I won't. Out of respect for you.
Could.
Out of
Oh,
respect-
and so you actually do say that, and she laughs,
Oh,
and she just says, "I have sent Jimmy on a. I have given Jimmy a note, a light to guide his future quest."
He has a destiny now. Thank you.
She smiled, and she says, "Everyone has a destiny. Some are great."
Jimmy is the greatest.
Some
We don't know what the
are
secret
chosen by destiny. Others choose destiny. And some destiny falls upon them.
And sometimes that destiny is a really good
It's
kitchen
a
in
really
the middle
good
of the
bowl
jungle.
of noodles.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do the ritual and then we'll head out.
So you actually do the ritual on the wall.
Absolutely.
Okay. Akane now has 12 sonic resistance and 6 more natural armor.
Yeah.
Truly making Akane the boss battle of your
38 AC.
What's her AC
38.
now? 38? What? No.
Oh no, it's too much.
No.
I will say Saruman are shocked he could use some of the AC boost, but your bird can also use
Hey,
it.
they had a
so-
chance with the other scale.
They'll probably also want the shadow scale.
Yeah.
Fits their
Uh,
playstyle more.
Well, you might have.
And we'll have a chance to
you,
meet
you
with
might
them.
have to do something for the Twilight Keeper.
We're just gonna buddy with all the dragons.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's you chose some powerful allies.
Yeah.
That's true.
Plus the scales and the feathers probably look really pretty.
It's like Dark Souls 1 dragons. All the
Oh yeah.
almost fuzzy dragons.
Wyverns.
Okay, so yeah, you're led out of the cloud maze into the normal ocean. Getting back to land takes a few hours, but once you're back to land, you can probably, land and then teleport. So, are you going back to the capital, or are you skipping that and going to Evolve?
We do need to actually spend our money.
And try to fight for our names. We need people
Yeah.
to actually work with us in the future.
And we can also meet up with their pawns, get them on new missions,
Yes,
send them after.
because I currently have your pawns and what they're doing.
Yeah, we should really send them on a mission together.
Asian activities, yeah.
Also, one of your pawns leveled up when you leveled up. So you get
Oh, yeah.
one more level of pawn.
Nice.
So it's up to you where you put that level. Does one of your existing ones get better, or do you get like an extra level 1 pawn? I know this session has been a lot of talking, but
That's fine.
you guys...
Yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll go back to town. I don't know if we wanted to just kind of do closing stuff now since it's like 9:45.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get you teleport
Oh yeah, we can just do that now.
back to the city outskirts. Ignoring the fortress, the sea fortress rising up before you. And you as you enter into the city, well, do you guys actually split up from your group as you enter the city, or do you want to
Well,
I
go
mean,
in
it's
as the
now.
We should
power team?
probably.
We did arrive as a group at that fortress, so they may. We aren't really. We're a known item now, kind of.
I think we've
Hashtag
probably been a
known.
known item for a while.
Definitely suspected as one. Yeah.
Okay. So, you walk in. You guys can kind of go about your day for then a few hours before agents of the Department of Internal Harmony start showing up wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and asking you to come to the palace.
All right.
Them doing so in broad daylight, without being tricky, is probably, you guys are not going to be kidnapped and like dragged into the night. You guys are just being asked to come for questioning. When they try to approach you, Moscas, you know.
I'm
what
already
they
like I
want.
go to the office and it's like, hey,
Yeah, you just go to the office directly. You notice the High Inquisitor is waiting for you, Moscas, at the office. And the High Inquisitor goes. He sighs as you come in, Moscas, and he says, "There are some dark shadows coming over my day, and one of them is people blaming you for trying to assassinate the Emperor.
mm,
I personally do not believe it." He looks you straight in the eye and he says, "If you're going to do it, you just do it with yourself in that damn brew. You would be more direct than this. But also, you've been
I heard it was the
a good
falling man.
agent."
I'm not sure how much more direct you can get.
He nods and he says, "Falling star is a known quantity, although it is unknown why he would do this. I suspect enchantment.
Hmm.
But, because no one would try to assassinate the Emperor and then leave. They know that they will never escape justice. But," he says, "it is too opportunistic to say that you, who have been out of the city for weeks, for most of the past month or so, would actually have much to do with this. But there are people with enough power in the court to demand a trial,
A trial.
or at least an inquest."
Trial seems to be skipping a few steps.
He says it's more of a discovery of truth, they call it.
We have our creative
I
names,
wish-
don't we? Right.
We're the Department of Internal Harmony. How euphemisms are our thing.
Well, that's why we don't call it torture anymore.
Says that's only part of our job. It's like calling the military arm the art of mass murder. That's only part of what they do. The High Inquisitor says, "Worry not. You will speak your truths. We will speak ours, and you will be exonerated. I'm very sure."
Well, let's go.
Okay. The rest of your traveling companions get gathered. and all of you appear before a jury. Or not so much a jury, but like a panel of Inquisitor judges to see what truth is being said.
They're all using discerning.
Yep.
What the fuck's it called?
Discern lies.
Yeah, discern lies. They're all just looking at us with it on. It's just auto on.
I mean, if you had truth-telling magics, wouldn't
Oh,
you
yeah.
do that?
This is the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Frosty,
Mm-hmm.
what DC do I have to beat to get this?
Okay. 1 second. DC for what now?
If they're trying to tell if you're telling a lie when you
Okay.
do your like super
They're
bluff.
not gonna.
So, super bluff. With my super bluff, I can get. They must beat a DC 19 caster check. I'm wondering if that number's changed.
Uh,
I'm guessing it's 20 now. Let me look it up.
okay. So. You are brought before a panel of inquisitorial judges in a semi-private room. Like there are benches that other people could be here, but it appears like it's only not too many people are in the room. You see a few people from a few different courts. You see your friend from the Avery, Kulung. See a few of the concubines who are bored and not doing anything else have arrived. You do see the diviner and the concubine in particular who has so Sundai and Yin are here, and doing the question asking role is Lord Inquisitor Mao. Effectively the same rank as you, Moscus.
Okay.
So, you do see some people start trickling in because, of course, any trial about the assassination attempt is gossipy, even if nothing is found. A lot of you get the sense that a lot of people have been before this panel as they try to discern the truth. So, it all starts with the Inquisitor, with Lord Inquisitor Mao, saying, to my justices of the court, I bring before you today this group of adventurers, people scattered throughout the court, and what I hope to prove through my questions, a group of conspirators against His Radiance the Emperor. You know who I am, and you know who the head accused is. He points towards Prince Ruha.
Mm-hmm.
But the co-accused are as such Lalara, concubine of the Emperor, and Moscus, my fellow Inquisitor. You will find that the Emperor's justice does not care for title, nor does it care for gold. It only cares for justice. It's a lovely little speech. He says, I would first ask, he turns towards Prince Ruha, have you ever met the assassin Falling Star?
Ian, have I met the assassin, or did I just get
You
turned
tried
away
to
by his
hire him.
bodyguard? I tried to hire him. I don't know if I actually got in touch with him personally.
You talked with him.
Okay,
You have.
well then I guess the answer is yes.
That people
Interestingly
in the,
enough.
people in the back gas.
Even Moscus turns a little bit like, what?
I mean, in such a large city, it would be... Oh, okay, actually, let me start this over again. As royalty, it is my duty to understand and know about the people who may try to take my very valuable and lovely life. And as such, I've met with many assassins, some of them on the wrong side of the blade and some of them on the right. But never have I hired him.
The panel of judges all look at each other and like they seem to be nodding.
Yep.
They say,
Yep.
the panel chooses one of them at the front and he says, he speaks truth. The Inquisitor Mao then says, did you know of his capacities? Did you know of the Falling Star's capacities?
Roughly. That's...
Have you ever enticed, ensorcelled, or gave incentive to the Falling Star?
I never gave any of those things, so I think I'm good, right?
I mean, yeah, you should.
Okay, can I roll linguistics to see if I understand the question correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you believe you're
Linguistics.
not telling...
Or it would be like sense.
If you
motive.
believe you're telling the truth, then it's the truth.
Mm-hmm. D20 plus 0. All right. Does the prince understand even the question? He kind of does. He gets like the gist of it.
Mhm.
And the gist of it would be, you know, just for the people at home on the stream who didn't quite get the question.
Oh, the gist of it.
Is it Ruha having trouble or is it Frosty having trouble? I can't tell.
Okay, so effectively, have you ever tried to coerce, pay, or ensorcel, so spellcast on the Falling Star?
Yes, as I said, I met this person on the correct side of the blade. Or rather, on the correct side of a table. But nothing ever came of it. And that was a while ago.
The panel of judges look at each other and says, he speaks truth through ignorance. The other judge says, not through ignorance. They start debating, and then they say, he speaks truth.
Okay.
Moscus sighs softly from... Like the other side of the group, the other side, like the panel, wouldn't notice, but everyone on like his team behind him would notice. It's just kind of a... Politics. Because the disagreement wasn't a real disagreement, it was just someone trying to do something politically.
Yeah. And so, Inquisitor Mao says, have you ever plotted to harm the Emperor?
I mean, meta-wise, I definitely have.
Meta-wise.
Like, meta-wise, me as the person,
Yeah.
definitely.
But as a character.
As a character, also kind
Oh.
of. I mean...
However, Frosty...
He came here from across the world. And...
You did... Your country was at war with his.
My country was at war with the Emperor. I've had thoughts of ways to get rid of him, but there's been no attempts. There's been no any of that, and it's all in the past. We are all one in this great empire, and we all serve the Emperor.
Roll a bluff check.
I mean, I guess.
But it's not a hard one. but there's just a little bit of a lie at the end there. Okay, and I'll do my GM rolls. Oh, the panel looks at each other and says, "He is not lying." And the questioning inquisitor then turns to Moscus, and then he says, "My fellow inquisitor, have you ever tried to hire Falling Star or any other assassin against the glorious Emperor?"
No.
The panel agrees. As, have you plotted through action or inaction to endanger the Emperor's glorious country or his own life?
No.
Through an action.
We have not plotted to be inactive, which would hurt the Emperor. So the answer is no.
They
More or less.
talk. And he says one final question. Do you know who hired Falling Star?
Potentially.
Expand.
It may be that the Phoenix cult has hired Falling Star.
At the moment you say Phoenix Cult, people are like, and he says, "Is it truly worthy of a Lord Inquisitor to blame a cult that has been long dead?"
Yes. Because the cult is not long dead.
The judges turn to each other, and he says, "He is not lying." And the Inquisitor man goes, "I do not need that right now." He points towards Moscus, and he says, "What proof do you have of the Phoenix cult's existence?"
The proof we had, we delivered to a pillar recently.
And one judge says, "He is not lying," and just you see the twitch in Inquisitor Mal. And he just goes,
Are you done
He just
accusing your
turns to
brethren for
Laura
political
now.
points? Note you were also standing in the zone of truth.
he looks at you, and he just goes, I do not do this for political gain, but for the finding of justice."
Oh, I'm gonna discern him so
My
hard.
justice.
How does this even work? I haven't done this in so long. It's a spell.
It's discern lies. Each round you concentrate on one target who must be within range. You know if the target has deliberately and knowingly speaks a lie by discerning the disturbances that cause lying. It's a will saving throw.
Okay. Well, I'll do one of those plus the sense motive on him.
Yeah, roll sense motive. Yes, I think he passed the saving throw. He is patriotic, but he is lying.
Moscus looks at him.
Like a little bit about it. He's doing this out of some strange mix of patriotic duty and also the fact that he dislikes you.
Moscus looks at him, then looks at the panel to see if they caught it.
And you see the panels of 5 judges, and you see like a bunch of them look at 3 of them look at you and kind of just do like a shrug. Like, the other 2 are pointedly not looking at him.
Moscus just sighs and shakes his head again.
He turns to Laura and he says, Speak Speak and answer this truthfully. Have you ever had contact with the assassin Falling Star?
No.
One of the panel judges says, truth. Sorry, they don't say truth. They say not lie. They know how to discern lies. It's just not lie. And he says, do you know who has hired Falling Star?
I trust Mozgus's judgment on this.
Not lying. Yeah. What? Inquisitor Mao nods and he says, have you ever planned and plotted to harm his most radiant emperor?
No.
Not lying. And he goes, and you just see someone who's sitting in the back stands up. It turns out it's the voice.
Oh.
She was disguising herself as something else. You see like a young woman stand up in the back, and then her forms changes to the voice. She says, I think you have better things to be spending your time on, Lord Inquisitor Mao. She walks down. They were on a mission set out by me for the past month or so. That is why they have not been in the capital. But if you truly believe that they were involved in the assassination, are you accusing me? She says. Inquisitor Mao backs down. He just says, oh no, Your Eminence. And she says, that is good because my voice is the Emperor's voice, and my justice is the Emperor's justice. Now let us dispense of this trial. She comes to you guys and she says, let us talk. She walks away. The panel of judges says, not lying. Mao just turns to them and said, please. As you guys walk out.
Mozgus stops as they leave and just stares at Mao, dead-faced. Just really stares at him.
Mao tries to stare back.
Well, let's see if his intimidate's as good as my intimidate. It's more of a feeling of Mozgus is very unhappy with you.
Not.
That's not quite.
He still rolled well, but not
That's
as
it.
well as you. And Mao just averts his eyes and goes to his business. You clearly won the staring match.
Oh, I mean, with Mozgus's dead eyes, it's hard not to.
Okay, so you guys are brought into.
Hey, it's this map.
You haven't seen this map in
Yeah.
a while.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are brought into the central grounds, into one of the gardens. And the voice says, I'm sorry I could not shield you from the petty ambitions. Welcome back.
Thanks.
How have your missions been? Can you give me a progress report? I defended you there, but I do want to make sure I defended the right thing.
Let's see.
That's a laundry list.
We met 3 of the pillars. We got some dragon stuff and some phoenix stuff, and have to get more phoenix stuff.
Specifically, Mozgus adds, we placed the Phoenix Orb in the possession of the Dawn Caller.
She says, firstly, I'm amazed you found anything Phoenix related. And secondly, I am even more impressed that you found it, dealt with it, were not twisted by it, and then gave it
The
to the
prince
most
just coughs
responsible.
there.
We gave it to the most responsible pillar. Wonderful. She says, she looks at Tiamos and Lalor, and she says, "You seem tougher,
Maybe
Oh.
even shinier?
shinier."
draconic?
Yes. You have a
We're both
practic-
Azamar, right? Too?
Yeah.
Tiamos and I? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're shiny.
She says, "I don't know if I see too many Azimar with draconic scales, but it is. I assume that this is part of your dealings with the pillars."
Oh, yes. Oh shit, how do I say it? I was always used to the cold, but the cold never bothered me
Oh,
anyway.
God.
Oh no.
Sorry, that's bad.
Do not apologize. It's
My soul.
so, the pillar. No, not the pillar. The voice. I have a lot of these, and powerful old woman talking at you this session. She says, "Have you gotten any closer to finding a cure for the Emperor, or the Black Summoner, or
Yes.
making yourself so important to the court that you'll be struck off the murder list?"
We know how to cure the Black Summoner.
Oh,
We need some
how did
pieces
you
of-
find that out?
Oh,
And
what
what
a
is it?
dawn caller. Grandma Dragon had some good advice.
As she often does.
We need a
Well,
necklace.
from the stories that I'm told. A necklace. from-
Talmak the Black. His vestments.
Her vestments.
Oh, her.
Yes. She says the name is unisex. Well, those have been lost, but it seems like you found other artifacts, so you might be able to.
Yeah, we know where all of them are, actually. Unless someone moves them in the last couple of weeks. We're doing great.
You know, she nods and she says, "I'm so glad. I have been able to distract the Emperor with the continuing crusade against the ocean.
Oh,
So he has not advanced to the murder list."
by the way, the Dawn Caller said that was a good move for the future, because apparently we might be attacked from the ocean anyway. So,
she kind of, the voice stands there a little bit stunned, and she says, "The Dawncaller said that about my plan?
Oh, shucks.
Oh, shucks." She for the first time you see a little bit of red on her face. She goes, "That's the nicest thing someone said to me in a while."
Aw.
I guess dealing with an insane emperor probably doesn't get a lot of nice wordings.
Mainly she just has to be cold and hard and like she's trying to keep an empire together when all of her other colleagues have gone crazy.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to make this sound bad. This is what people with 28 charisma sound like, by the way. Or however much I have, I don't know.
Too much.
Too much. 26 charisma. I don't want to sound insensitive, but do you have some way of preventing yourself from coming down with whatever affected the Emperor and the Black Summoner?
Well, since I don't know exactly what happened to the Emperor, I don't know if I can defend from unknown unknowns.
Okay,
But I
do you
at least know what happened to the Black Summoner. And if someone actually successfully assassinated me, she says, unless they did it in a very specific way, which I am not telling you. I
No, I know you
would like-
reincarnate.
Ah.
I'm asking, do you have someone in place in case you go mad? Do you have some contingency in case the last piece of thread holding the kingdom together stops holding the kingdom together?
She considers this and she says, "Well, I'd have to trust the cesspool that is, well, the heads of the departments, as they'd probably be General Hiruzen. General Yang and General Hiruzen are pretty much the two most powerful and rational people left if I somehow went missing, mad, or insane."
Okay, good to know. I'll have those numbers written down just in case. Or
Yes.
names, rather.
I might suggest that you make their acquaintance at some point. I know Saruman, who has gone off to actually do her job. Saruman is an associate of theirs. She is a general, even if they are the high generals. Well, I might. It seems like you are very busy and you have very many things to do, just like myself. If you're when you come back to the capital, I'd like more status reports. But otherwise, keep on doing your work, and if you can cure one or both of the the Black Summoner or the Emperor, that would be fantastic. So,
Agreed.
Yeah, the Phoenix cult is neutered for the moment, so
she sighs and she says, every few decades we have a small resurgence of them. That is the
Oh
problem
shit, right. The
with the
that
Phoenix.
one mistress. You should definitely know about that one mistress
Oh,
yeah.
who hired.
Ping.
What?
Are you talking about Ping?
I think so.
Emperor's third wife, Yi Peng.
So
oh,
not quite mistress.
No, that's not a mistress at
Yeah,
that point.
pretty
It's more
close.
important.
I guess.
oh, what is she accused of?
She hired.
She
Oops, sorry.
she hired a group. I was gonna say the same thing you were, I think.
Wasn't it the Pyromancy group or was it an adventure group? I forget.
No, it was the adventure group.
It was Fate's favorite.
Ah. Which unfortunately met their end trying to obtain the orb. But
I guess Fate didn't favor them too much, she said.
Hey,
what did we do
But-
with their bodies?
Finger
I think the
cut.
bodies are still with the bird.
Yeah, you
probably-
guys didn't tell me.
you know what, we
did with the
probably-
body.
We'll think about it.
how do we do our corpse disposal? Do we just like chuck them up
I
the side of
assume
the
that
bird?
one of you
middle
has
of
been
nowhere?
casting gentle repose, so they haven't been.
We probably want to cremate him, to be honest.
Hmm.
Make it hard to resurrect.
That's
Well,
what
none of
we
us have good
cultists
fire
would
spells.
want.
God damn it, Frosty.
That's on my list, okay? My next purchase when I get 9,000 gold is spell or the page of
It's not.
magic with.
It's not
Fireball on it.
The page of spell knowledge.
Yeah,
what's
that's
that
what
do?
I get. Fireball has my known spells.
Oh, do you? Isn't? Oh, are you? Okay, I get.
Sorcerer, yeah.
Right, that's awkward.
I know this. I know this may come as a surprise to you, but we could just douse them in oil and burn them.
That's true.
That's
Now you're just
why.
being ridiculous.
That's true.
I mean, we could also just toss them off the side of the bird, but you know, we have standards.
God.
You have to be thorough in my line of work. You don't want to leave details hanging about.
Well, the voice just asks, "Where are you off to next?" Then.
Another piece of the regalia of the Phoenix Queen lies within Haval.
Do we know where the necklace of
Oh.
Talmec is?
We know where 3 pieces of Talmec stuff are.
Right.
We don't know which
Right.
one's which.
Okay.
So we're going to send our Pawn
One is
Scepter.
in the floodplains of Mun. The other is between the mountains of Kran and the endless plains of Xantar. And the third is between the Imperial Province, the islands of Yangtapur, and the jungles of Ryza.
Hmm. Where do we want to guess?
You get to
Um,
guess.
Well,
If we go to the Vestments of Talmuk, we can take them halfway there. Our pawns. We could take them halfway to that location. As
Either
we go
that
to
or
Nepal.
with your downtime, our dear Lalara prepares 2 teleport spells and just like, okay, you've loaded pawns, won't dump you over there. Find it. Teleports back. Okay, now we wait a day and then you.
Yeah, wouldn't interrupt her crafting. It'd just be like the morning routine: get a coffee, get a bagel, teleport back.
Be the fairy. Okay. Well.
Yeah, I'm okay going to Haval, the Rock.
Okay. So you guys are going after the that part of the Phoenix Regalia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, just to warn you, if it's the crown, they've warned you that the crown's the most dangerous part. Or if it's the scepter, they've also warned you that that's terribly dangerous. Actually, all of it's terribly dangerous.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna.
The orb was probably the most dangerous to like the area you were in, though. So,
How expensive is another lead-lined or lead box with anti-magic?
lead box, an anti-magic lead box, terribly
Oh, okay.
expensive. A lead-lined box, not too bad.
Okay, because we might want another one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say that a lead-lined box is.
Can we? That seems like the sort of expense that maybe the voice could cover for us.
If you, what are you going to ask for a lead-lined box?
Yeah, we're gonna ask. This is our little meeting, and
She
No.
says, "I will have the box delivered to Lalara's workshop. It won't make too big a fuss if it's delivered to a crafter's workshop."
wow, that was easy. Should ask this
It,
person
it,
for more
it,
stuff.
it, it's just, it's literally like it's 100 gold.
No,
for a
not
lead-lined
the box, the anti-magic one.
Oh,
That's what I meant to
she
ask for.
says, oh.
I didn't just mean like,
Maybe
yeah,
for
you
your
know,
birthday.
that's exactly the vibe I want here. Is this is our rare meeting, and we get like they pay for dinner out.
I at least like to get wined and dined before I get fucked.
Why did you turn into Gilbert Gottfried?
Now you must understand.
God, that's NPC. If that's not the 4th dragon, I don't know what I'll do with myself.
Oh man, the Twilight Keeper is just Gilbert Gottfried. Oh my! It appears like I've been invaded by a bunch of pseudo-draconic assholes.
God, you're too good at that, please. No more.
So is everyone else okay with us going to Haval for the
Yep.
last bit?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do that. There'll be a lot more combat next time stream. You guys also, I guess you guys are going to gather up your agents and send them on a
Yeah.
merry
quest,
chase
yes.
of one
So-
of Talmac's
So,
vestments.
super meta question. Like, okay, I know that there is a power level we must meet or beat to ensure some sort of success. Is there any hint of what that is? I know this is basically a mini game we're playing right now.
Currently, you guys are trying to build up enough, like, powerful friends and powerful places, or just enough powerful artifacts under your control to weather the Emperor's insanity.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I meant for sending our pawns on a mission. That minigame.
Okay. That minigame. Okay.
Like, do we get a
Uh,
hint, or is it just give it a go?
You guys aren't really researching it very extensively before. That's where you like get a hint.
I see.
If you guys had, oh, the Silver Anshi might actually have a spell called Commune.
I guess we could research while we're here, and maybe that'll give us a clue as to how dangerous that area might be.
I can
Once
I can
once a
have-
week, Chelsea's familiar can ask a question of a of its god, and it's effectively a 20 questions
Oh.
thing. It's either yes, no, or 5 words or less. If the answer would be against the deity's interest to give just a yes or no. So you could be like, hey, dearest Tony the cat. Yes? Yes or no? Sending only these amount of people will have our pawns killed. Yeah. You have the ability to research, but it's also getting to like
Mhm.
10, 20. So we'll deal with that at the very, very beginning. You guys can deal with your purchases and whatnot probably in the downtime, like between sessions.
Mhm.
And next session, you guys will be effectively dungeon delving into the
The Underdark.
to Haval. You should probably, if you're going to be in the area, meet with the Baelnorn and get some, of that crazy water.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye, stream.